When I ask you about terrorism, do you think of the 9/11 terrorist attacks? Or do you think of Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber? Maybe the Boston Marathon bombings popped up in your head. Or you could even be thinking about Marvin Haymeyer and his killdozer. Or, if you're crazy enough, just maybe, you might be thinking about Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I'm not here today to tell you about any of those things. Today, I'm here to tell you about the worst recorded case of domestic terrorism in United States history. Hi, I'm Morgan Freeman, and this is a video about the Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh, born April 23rd, 1968, to his parents William and Mildred McVeigh. McVeigh was the middle child in a blue-collar family that lived in rural New York. And in 1986, he graduated from high school and spent a short time at a local business college. Around this time, he started reading the Turner Diaries. The book, which is a neo-Nazi and anti-government tract written by William Pierce, details the truck bombing of the Washington, D.C. FBI headquarters. The book presumed to fuel McVeigh's paranoia about a government plot to repeal the Second Amendment. In 1988, McVeigh enlisted into the U.S. Army and proved to be a model soldier, earning himself a Bronze Star for bravery in the Persian Gulf War. But shortly after that, in late 1991, he left the Army and returned to New York, where he reunited with Terry Nichols and Michael Forder. Together, they drove around to fairs all around the U.S. selling guns. But in 1993, McVeigh drove to Waco, Texas to observe the FBI siege of the Branch Davidian compound. He viewed the U.S. government actions there illegal, and it was around this time where McVeigh, Nichols, and Forder made contact with militia groups in the Midwest. And in September, McVeigh began to plan to bomb the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. And over the course of 6 months, McVeigh and Nichols planned the bombing and acquired several tons of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, which when combined with fuel oil would provide explosive power for the bomb.
This isn't very secretive considering you were loading the truck up in the middle of the street. Well, do you have a better idea what we could do?
And so on April 19th, 1995, McVeigh parked the truck containing the bomb in front of the Murrah building. And at 9:02 precisely, the bomb exploded. And within minutes, the surrounding area looked like a war zone. A third of the building had been reduced to rubble. Floors were flattened. Dozens of cars were incinerated, and more than 300 nearby buildings were either damaged or destroyed. In total, 168 people were killed in the bombing, including 19 children, with several hundreds others injured and many more affected by the aftermath. Slightly more than an hour after the bombing, McVeigh, driving a getaway car, was pulled over by an Oklahoma State police officer for a license plate violation. When the officer found out that McVeigh was illegally carrying a concealed handgun, McVeigh was arrested and held in jail. While he was in custody, he was identified as John Doe No. 1, the primary suspect in the Oklahoma City bombing. And only 2 short days later, McVeigh was taken into federal custody, and Nichols turned himself in. The two were indicted in August of 1995, and McVeigh's month-long trial began in April 1997. And by the time it was done, McVeigh was sentenced to death, and Nichols was sentenced to life in prison without parole. McVeigh was killed by lethal injection on June 11, 2001, and Nichols is still alive, incarcerated at the APX Florence Super Maximum Prison. The intensive and enduring media coverage during the bombing created an imagined bereaved community in which people around the world felt emotionally connected with the deceased's grieving family member.
It's like a garbage pile. It's unbelievable. And everywhere you dig, you find somebody. Everywhere.
The bombing and subsequent aftermath went down in history as the worst case of domestic terrorism in United States history. Now, once again, I'm Morgan Freeman, and this has been a short documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing. Thank you for watching.